What is going on at Universal Studios Hollywood? I was recently at that park not too long ago, and there was some stuff that was pretty concerning. Now, there was also some good stuff there, too, that we'll talk about both, to be completely fair. But we're going to talk about it up next on OG 55. We got the Italiano in the house. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG 55, where we're talking all about Universal. You know what that means, George? You know what that means? We're talking Universal.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
I'm going to be the bad guy today. Watch, you'll see in the comments. We'll see. But George, thank you so much, brother, for coming on. If you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You could find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also check out the podcast I'm part of called A Walk with Walt. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Absolutely. Here, I'll chime you in, sir. There you go. It's official. Blow the whistle. All right, let's talk some Universal. So I had a recent trip to Universal, and it was very interesting. Now, here's one of the things that I love doing on this channel. You can go to any channel on YouTube. You can go to any website. You can follow any Twitter account, whatever. You're going to get a laundry list of problems being reported at the Walt Disney Company or at the Disney parks. There's no shortage of that in this community at all. Where there is a shortage, though, is holding Universal accountable. People don't do it. It's very rare. Not to say nobody does, but outside of us and maybe a handful of others, it doesn't really happen. A lot of that stuff gets swept under the rug. So I was recently at Universal, and we had a great time. I want to make that very clear. And there was a lot of great stuff that actually occurred on that visit, which I will also bring up in this video. But there were some things that weren't so hot. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right. So this is actually right in front of the Simpsons ride, the Simpsons attraction. Okay. And you can see here, I mean, it's in terrible shape. Okay. I'm telling you, I don't know what this looks like.
Are you sure you weren't at Six Flags, OG?
Maybe, right? Yeah, I know. I don't even have to zoom in on these pictures. You can see them, without even zooming in. It's pretty crazy.
That's pretty clear.
Yeah, pretty clear, pretty crystal clear. This looks like the floor to a oil change business or something. Pet Boys. I don't know, dude.
Oh yeah, that does.
It's looking pretty rough. Okay, let's be honest, Universal fans. This is a terrible show, and I get it. Look, there's rumors that the Simpsons area is not long on this earth, and they will be replacing it. That's fine, and it probably will be the case. They will probably replace this whole Simpsons area with something totally new in a few years. But you still got to still maintain it in the meantime, though. I remember Disney got a lot of crap before they closed Splash Mountain that they weren't upkeeping those attractions in California and in Florida, where they weren't maintaining them properly because they knew that they were going to be closing soon. So where's the accountability for this one? This is not going to show y'all. What do you think, George?
Oh, absolutely not. It actually looks like someone came off the ride and finished off what they had eaten like an hour before they got on the ride. I mean, that's not good showmanship. And again, as you had said, even if that is an area that's going to eventually become something else and change and do a refurb or what have you, that's still no excuse for something like this. That should be power washed and maintained and painted at least, just as a normal regular upkeep. We're not saying spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix like audio animatronics that's soon to be taken out or what have you. Like this is like basic stuff.
This is basic maintenance. This is basic maintenance, dude. And look, I already know the arguments people are going to say. Oh, well, you pay a premium over at Disney. Well, check the website for Universal. Okay, for a 1 day, 1 park ticket at Universal, it's not that much cheaper than a 1 day, 1 park at Disneyland. You know, with the tier systems, it's going to vary from day to day. But at Disney, you're talking anywhere between $100 to maybe 170, maybe 180. At Universal, check the website. You're talking anywhere between 100 and like 130, 140. It's not that much cheaper. And, you know, I'm sorry, you can talk about, well, you know, the annual passes are a lot cheaper. Well, that's true. But that's not fair to out of state and tourist people that come and visit this park. They have a right to get value out of their ticket too. So yeah, you can get your annual pass and save a lot of money and oh well. But what about the people that come from out of state? What about people that only go once every few years? They're not allowed to get the most value out of their ticket? They should.
Well, and also too, to add on to your point of that, Universal Hollywood only has 1 park. Disneyland has 2. And there's soon to be a major expansion with the Disneyland Resort with the possibility of a 3rd gate and expanding the 2 previous parks that they have. And I know that Universal Hollywood is getting a new major roller coaster and what have you, but that wouldn't justify the price of the annual passes up against Disneyland because Disneyland has a little bit more to offer than Universal Hollywood.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, a lot more to offer. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this was back, full disclosure, this was back in like mid-August. Our friends at Attractions 360, a great channel. You should definitely check them out on YouTube. You should follow them. Huge fans here. We love those guys over there. Actually, they were early supporters of OG 55 when I first started this channel. And I will never forget that. And I want to thank you, gentlemen, for that. I appreciate that. But they were there. They were there at Super Nintendo World back in August, and it says here not working, which is actually this. Which, to be fair, I believe they are working now. So this was a few months ago. To be fair, these are working now, from what I understand. But this, okay, when I was there the other day recently, a lot of the flooring over at Super Nintendo didn't look much better than what you see here.
So you're looking at 2 months worth of scuffing and...
It might be 2 months worth, and maybe they did wash it and they got bad again. I don't really know. But the flooring looked terrible. It looked bad. It looked bad like this. And it's like, you know, this is the thing, you guys. It's like I constantly hear how Universal is doing everything right. They're beating the mouse house. They get it, right? They get it. They're properly maintaining everything. Their operations are better, yada, yada, yada. This is better. And if you're going to say that they're number 1 now, well, then you got to start treating them like number 1. You can't coddle them forever. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Even Attractions 360 said that they got to power wash this thing.
And I actually wrote to Attractions on Twitter because I commented on those photos, and I actually praised them and told them thank you for posting this because every one of these entertainment theme parks should be held accountable. You know, not just Disney. Disney should be held accountable. I agree with that.
Right.
But so should everybody else. That goes for Universal, that goes for Knott's Berry Farm, that goes for SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, what have you. Hell, I'll even go as far as even Dollywood and Cedar Point. If you are going to have any kind of business, you have to maintain it that you would entice people to come back. This isn't it.
No, I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. This is like just washing and like painting. It's not asking for a huge amount. And this is obviously not new. Okay. You can tell this picture is not something that happened last night. This has been sitting there for a while like this. Okay. Pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. So then we move on to the Silly Funland. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. It's silly something. I think it's a silly.
It's definitely silly to you, OG.
Yeah, it's silly something, you know. But this is like their little like Minions, like little boardwalk, very amusement parky kind of feel. They have these cute little Minion, like I don't know what you call them, like 2D flats, kind of surrounding this one little area in the back, like all against this long wall. And you know, George, you ever see like remember video rental stores? Yes. And they would have like the posters of the movies and like the cardboard stand-ups in the window. Mm-hmm. And then after years and years and years, they'd get like super sun faded. Yeah. And it would like bleach out like all the color in the posters and on the
it'd be very faded.
Yeah.
You can see it. Yeah, you
Look at
can
this.
see it.
It's all washed out. I mean, they look even worse in person. I mean, they're completely faded. This land, I believe, opened in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, based on how these figures look, I don't think they've ever changed them or updated them or painted them or anything. I could be wrong, but they did not look good. They did not look good. Like I said, it looks like the window to an old video rental store. Those old posters. They're faded as heck.
Not to mention just those things in general, like they're just so unappealing to look at, even if they were not discolored. I mean, like talk about like missing the overall like theming. You know, you could do anybody can just do like cardboard cutouts, place them on something, and it's like let's call it a day.
Yeah, no,
You
this
know?
isn't. Yeah, exactly. Even in tip top condition, it's not theming. It's really decoration. We talked a lot about that here on the channel, but the difference between theming and decoration. This is decoration. This is we're gonna just staple or nail down a bunch of Minion pictures along the wall. But look, even here, right here, it's like the lights are falling off the cord. Here you got a whole section just completely falling off. You got it happening here too. I mean, this is not a good show. But you're not going to see this anywhere else, you guys. I'm telling you, Universal can do this. No one says a fucking word. It's crickets all day long. And look, you know what? I don't blame Universal. I got to be honest with you. If I was Universal, why am I going to spend money on something? Fans aren't going to call me out. Those executives at Universal in the giant Comcast building are probably laughing their asses off. We don't got to do anything. But God forbid Disney, God forbid there's a little thing out of place and they get all the heat on Twitter. They're not going to get anything about nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's pretty crazy. Now here I have a funny story. Okay, now there is some good in here. So I don't want people like saying, gee, it's just a hit piece on Universal. It's not a hit piece. There's actually, I have a really, really awesome Universal team member story I'm going to share right now that was really good, really positive. So we went to this Minions Cafe, okay? Now this is I'm starting with the negative because we're doing the negative stuff, but believe me, I will get into the positive cast member. We go into this Minions Cafe, we order a bunch of food, and we check out, okay? It was dead. It was like around 11:30 in the morning. I mean, literally no one was in there. I'll show you the pictures. Now, I'm not making a statement like how Universal is like empty or whatever. I mean, I think that everyone kind of floods into Nintendo World when it first opens the park. So I think that was an element here. So this area was like just dead as a doornail, So we got food, which the food was actually really, really good. I will say I got the grilled cheese with the tomato soup. We got this banana like pudding thing. Ooh, it was superb. It was really, really good food.
And really quick, I have to ask you, not to derive from your story, but the tomato soup, was it actually like real authentic tomato soup, or was it like with the tomato paste? Because there's times like it could be like a tomato paste where it tastes like a I wouldn't even say canned soup, but it just kind of tastes like, honestly, like heated ketchup.
Oh no.
Okay.
It didn't taste like that. As an Italian, I would know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it didn't taste like heated. It tasted really. It was really good. Actually, that was the tomato soup. Was like me and the person I was with. That was actually kind of a star of the show. I mean, it was really good. I was even dipping my fries in it. Like it was fantastic. Yeah, nice. We loved it. We both agreed it was fantastic. Nice. Really good stuff. So we order a bunch of food and we check out and we go out to the eating area outside, right? And we go and get all our condiments and everything over here. And I look around and I'm like, oh shit, there's no napkins. Okay, whatever. It happens. A lot of times in California, these businesses will hide their napkins behind the counter to like save them and divvy them out. It's like stupid California stuff, right? It happens all the time here. So that's what I thought that was, So I go to the kid who like checked us out, at the register. And I ask him, there's no napkins. Where can I get napkins? He goes, oh, they're not out there? I'm like, no. He goes, oh, well, you're going to have to go over to the Moulin Rouge thing then and go get a napkin. Now, the Moulin Rouge thing is a little bit of a walk, okay? It's like going from Tiki Room to like the partner statue or something. And it's a walk. It's not like a huge walk, but for some napkins, it's kind of a walk. So walk all the way over there. I bring napkins back. Another person comes over and they're looking for the napkins. So we had to tell that person, you got to go to Moulin Rouge. So that gentleman had to walk all the way over there for his family. We were eating for a while. I would say probably 20, 25 minutes before they decide to come out with the little box of napkins. Now, here's what I have to ask you, George.
Mm-hmm.
The kid knew we were looking for napkins. He said, oh, they're not out there? Walk all the way down there. Why are you sending us way down there? You obviously had the napkins. They brought them out like 20, 25 minutes later. Why can't you just have somebody come out and bring them? They make us wait all this time and then they bring them out. Isn't that a little weird?
Exactly. I take that as a person that, you know, doesn't really think ahead about doing their job, you know, so it's like rather than just go in the back and say, you know what, let me go get you some. And then while I'm going to get you some, I'll restock it. But no, it's like, I'll wait and you can go walk down here and then I'll restock it later, you know?
It just, yeah, I don't know if it was laziness or just like, I don't give a fuck or like, I don't know what that was. Really bizarre. So this is the cafe, which is actually really, really cute inside. This is where we get into a little bit more of the positive. Okay. The cafe was really, really cute. Okay. We walk in. Now I will say the gentleman, I don't think you can see him in this picture, but the gentleman who took our order was fantastic. He was making conversation with us. Where are you guys from? Making jokes. Really great cast member. I don't know if Universal has a cast compliment sort of feature. I wish they did, or maybe I'm not aware of it. I would have given this gentleman a huge compliment. I thought he was fantastic. But
is it normally this empty in there?
You know, I don't know. I didn't want to jump to conclusions because it was like the park opened at 10, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And we were in this cafe around 11:30. So the park has been open for like an hour and a half. I don't know though when this particular thing opened. Maybe they opened at 11, but this whole area, I'll show you, was like dead, bro. Oh. Like dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it was like very dead. And keep in mind, where I took this picture is like where the napkins were. Okay. So we had to walk, like this is basically where I'm standing. Well, actually here, I'll tell you exactly where I was. So for the napkins, we were like right here. Okay. Which is like right behind this. And you have to go all the way to the Funland Castle and make a left. And then that's where we were sitting to eat. So all this way, all the way down here, basically we had to walk just for fucking napkins. You know? Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. When they had them, you freaking had them.
Yeah, you had them. You had them. Yeah, that's crazy. And actually, to be fair, I have a little bit of a complaint. Speaking that you had mentioned napkins, because I meant to mention this for some time and I completely forgot about it up until you just mentioned your napkin story. But this is actually at Disneyland. I was at DCA, and I always like to go to the Chicken Palace, the place where you get the box chicken that's based off of the Toy Story short Small Fry.
Oh, okay.
So you get the bucket of chicken and everything. You can get like lime chili lime corn, which is phenomenal. I love that place. It really is. It's a small little place. It's like a quick service little thing, but I like their food. And I forgot to grab napkins, which was my fault. They have the napkins right there upon where you check out to grab your food. But my issue is with that whole slew full of little eateries done at Pixar Pier is they have the napkins too close where the window is. So if you happen to forget your napkins, you then have to push somebody out of the way to get your napkins. The only place that I can recall, and if someone else knows something different, please comment down below. But as far as I know, because I do it every single time, every time I forget my napkins, the only place that at Pixar Pier where the napkins are separated from the ordering station where you could just go up and grab them is Anger's hot dog stand, because the napkins are where all the condiments are for your hot dog. That's the only place that you could actually get the napkins that's not where you have to actually kind of cut somebody off in line to get the napkins. So that's
Wow.
just my little gripe. It just made me remember after you
Yeah.
had your napkin story. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to get napkins without cutting somebody else in line, and you happen to forget like I do, go to Anger's hot dogs stand, because that's where the napkins are with the condiments.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying a lot of these places in California, they're really weird with the napkins and stuff too. Like my local Chipotle at the mall, like they don't put the napkins like out there. Like you have to request one. It's like this stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on here. But this was just like, hey, they obviously had the napkins because they brought them out like 20 minutes later. But he tells us to go all the way down here, and I'm like, and I'm not really like super familiar with Universal, so I just went wherever he said to go. And he said Moulin Rouge, I went down to Moulin Rouge. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty kind of low quality customer service right there.
Yeah.
And I work in customer service, so I mean, that's that's not a one for the books.
No, it's not. He was a young kid though, I gotta say. But the guy behind the counter with the food and stuff was A plus. He was really
Well,
really
that's
good.
good.
So
And I have one more thing to ask you, OG. I know
Sure.
this is kind of like off topic, but again, speaking of napkins, because you had
Yeah.
mentioned about Chipotle, but anytime I go to these places, yeah, they hand you like one or two napkins and they place them in the bag. And I'm thinking, I'm an Italian. I eat messy. It's like I'm an Italiano, like I like the messy food, So what the hell is two little napkins gonna do? No, you gotta grab me like a stockpile of that shit and like shove it in the bag.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. No, they're just cheap. It's just cheap. They probably have some team lead telling them like, you can only put two in there, okay? So, per order, shit like that. I'm sure of it. I used to work at a sandwich shop, and I'm telling you, they used to grill us and train us on all that kind of garbage about how many scoops, and you got to the real nitpicky about everything.
the ratio.
Right. The ratios and the napkins and this and that. So, but here's the thing I wanted to bring up. Okay. I see a lot of people and they'll post like pictures or something. They'll go like, oh, it's packed, or oh, it's empty, right? The reason why I didn't want to make like a statement about how empty it looked is because it's very deceiving pictures. And this is why I hate when I see people posting pictures of like inside a movie theater and it's empty. Oh, look, so-and-so movie is flopping. There's no one here. You don't know when that picture was taken. It could have been taken 40 minutes before the movie started or something, or 30 minutes before it started, so no one got to their seat yet, And so you can paint this picture that isn't necessarily true, right? So you can do that in both directions, though. You can take a picture when a parade gets out and make it look really busy when it really isn't overall busy at the park. Or you could take a picture like this in the morning, and make it look like it's super dead. Now, to be fair to Universal, the park was not dead that day. It was not dead. The park was robust. They had crowds. For whatever reason, I think it was probably because it was earlier on in the day, everyone was at Mario. They were trying to get those.
But you're correct, though. Someone could take this picture, put it on Twitter, and say, oh my gosh, what's going on at Universal Hollywood?
Right.
It's completely dead. And people would be in an uproar, or if it was Disney for that matter.
Right.
And it's true. You don't know what time of day or what the current situation is at the time the photo was taken.
Right.
But it's like any kind of pictures can be deceiving. You put a little caption with it and you can sell it off for anything.
You could do it in either direction. You can have a busy thing, and you can make if a ride has or an attraction has a long line, you would take a picture of that. You can make, okay, look, it seems like people are enjoying this attraction. But that's not a definitive statement because you don't know. In an hour, it might be dead. Maybe that was just the morning rush or the afternoon rush, and then it's dead. So there's context to this stuff, and that's the problem that a lot of people are missing when it comes to these pictures. And I'll be real and I'll be fair. Universal was busy this day. It was busy. There was crowds here, but for whatever reason, this part of the park at that time was deader than Elvis. So, but yeah. So I just want to make that statement because that's always bothered me for the longest time with these pictures and stuff. It's okay to look at them and acknowledge them, but don't completely take them at like the gospel because there is a lot of factors involved when you see stuff like this. So
correct.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean, overall, we had a really good day at Universal. It was fun. It was really fun. We saw Waterworld, which is a fantastic show.
Love that show.
Love Waterworld. And it's cool because it's been so popular. Even though the movie was like one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history, the attraction is still chef's
Gold.
kiss.
Yeah.
You know, the energy is fantastic. The person I was with did the Harry Potter stuff. I don't like the Forbidden Journey because, like I said many times on the channel, I'm claustrophobic. Those vehicles and I don't go well, and they always stop them. So,
And didn't you say that you got your worst nightmare? You got stuck when you were doing when it was part of the Whomping Willow tree, and you were literally completely almost like flat on your back, looking up at this thing.
yeah, that's why I don't want to ever go back on it because the vehicles, those are at home. I'm sure you've all ridden it, but they're like little cubbies, and then there's like these walls, and then you have the over the shoulder thing. But when you're on the Whomping Willow spot and you're on your back, you sink all the way into those little cubbies. And we were on our back, dude, and you just have that view, and you're just like stuck. And someone who's claustrophobic, that does not.
Oh yeah, that's like the whole world is enclosing in on you. You know, if you're stuck in that situation.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I will say, I mean, the cleanliness of Harry Potter Land or Wizarding World, A plus. It looked fantastic. You know, it really, really did. So I mean, hey, kudos for that. Basically, where most of the maintenance issues that I saw that day was in Simpsons Land, which is consistently bad. It wasn't just this visit, and the super silly fun area that was pretty bad. I remember back in February, I went to Universal with I was Mindy, Dre, and Theme Park Wizard, and we we're at Universal, and we were sitting in that Moe's Tavern over at Simpsons Land, and there was food and trash everywhere. It was not well maintained. I don't know what's going on with the Simpsons area over there, but Universal just does not care, I guess, with that land in particular. It's one of the more filthy lands. That and the silly fun land. I don't know what it is. I really, really don't. Now, when you went, how was it over there for you?
If memory serves me correctly, the silly fun land didn't look too bad at the time that I was over there. I was over there in July, this past July. Now, the Simpsons land, when we went inside oh boy, was it the Krusty Burger? I believe it was, or something or other. It was one of the quick service places. Yeah, the garbage, I believe there were some areas where they were not maintaining the garbage cycle. Like it would fill up to the brim where it's like you're looking at it, it's like, okay, I can't even shut the little pushable door. It's like, can we get like a new fresh bag here?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I've had that a few times over there. You know, it's rough over there. I don't know why. I think maybe Wizarding World is a different situation because it's a licensed property.
Rowling would have their heads.
Right. That's exactly it. So they maintain that stuff. You walk into those Wizarding World stores and stuff, they are so like pristine. I mean, there's perfect. Everything in that land was perfect. Nothing was out of place. It looked great, you know?
Maybe that's Universal's little niche of dogging Disney, because since Disney owns The Simpsons, like the rights to them, like for Disney Plus and all that, it's like, we'll just let their stuff go to shit because maybe people won't buy it, and if they don't buy it, we won't make a profit, and if we don't make a profit on it, then we don't have to pay Disney the percentage.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it's the way Brian Roberts is sticking it to the mouse house, you know? Yeah, it's just weird. It's really, really strange. Now, we also got to see a little bit of glimpse of them kind of leveling or grading the hillside. It's right outside Wizarding World, but they're leveling out that hillside to make way for the Fast and Furious roller coaster, which that's going to be interesting. I mean, I've had Theme Park Wizard on this channel many, many times talk about that, where it's going to be kind of like Cosmic Rewind. I know. I will not be going on this one, but George, I'm sure you would love it. But there are cars, like vintage cars. They look like vintage cars, at least in the concept art. And they turn on the track like Cosmic Rewind. Is that something that you might go on over there?
That's interesting. Yeah, I would definitely check that out because, again, I'm a thrill junkie, and I think especially because this is going to be an all outdoor coaster, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, so it would be kind of interesting to kind of get a different aspect on it because Cosmic Rewind is all indoors in complete darkness. So to do an outdoor coaster, even in the daytime when we're going on that kind of ride vehicle, to kind of get a different perception on it, I think would be very interesting.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I mean, if I wasn't such a chicken shit, I'd probably do it because I think the views actually are gonna be beautiful because you're right on that hillside. From what I understand, you're gonna go in and around the giant escalators and stuff, like under them and around them and stuff. And I think that's pretty interesting. So I think it's gonna be a very, very interesting sort of dynamic for Universal. And here's the other thing too. I think it's a smart move for Universal. Universal has never been seen as like a good park for like coaster enthusiasts. It's never been that park.
Right.
Now there's something for like
Now,
coaster people.
can I ask you, OG, do you feel like that would be a different perception of if you could handle something like that? Do you feel like with Cosmic Rewind, being that it was an indoor ride and it was dark, it kind of gave you that enclosed feeling. But if you were in an outdoor setting, sort of like how you can do like the Incredicoaster, do
Right.
you feel like you can handle it, or do you think it's just the sensation of that ride style?
You know,
Period.
it might be better outdoors. It might be better outdoors because you can see the track very clearly. You can see what's coming, what to expect. With Cosmic, it's a little harder because, like you said, you're in the dark.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of surprises where the track is going and where you're going to be turning or facing. So there was a lot of variables with that. But like with the Fast and Furious coaster, one of those variables is gone because you're outside. You can clearly see where you're going. It might be better for me. I'll probably give it a chance, at least ride it once and check it out. So we'll see. I think it'd be very, very interesting to see kind of how that works in that park. They're diversifying over there. They're building the coaster. They started to do stuff like Secret Life of Pets, which I think is another fantastic attraction. One of my favorites actually at Universal.
Believe it or not, out of all the themed rides, I have to actually say, aside from the Tram Tour is the best thing that's in that park, but
Yeah.
that's in a category all its own. But I have to actually say, I mean, I did enjoy Jurassic World. I think it's much better than the Jurassic Park in Orlando. But I have to say, the Secret Life of Pets, even though that's a simple like dark ride type of thing, it's dope. I enjoyed the queue of that ride. I enjoyed just the amount of animatronics that's in that ride.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it. It's actually one of my favorite rides actually at Universal Hollywood.
Me too. I think it's adorable. I love the queue. And the thing I love about the queue, I think it's brilliant design work. They don't use like chain link, whatever, to guide you through it. They position the furniture in the apartments to guide you through that whole queue area. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Obviously it's an adorable movie, great IP. Even when you go outside of the attraction, though, they have the little bunny rabbit. I don't know what his name is. I'm sorry, but he's up above in the on like one of the balconies, and he's kind of like talking shit to people down below. That's cool. That adds a lot of kinetic energy and like just a cool vibe for that little area. I thought that was pretty awesome. So
And honestly, to Universal Hollywood's credit, just like Disneyland, they are very limited on what they can do as
right.
far as creativity go. But when they can do something, I love how they can put that imaginative side of saying, okay, how can we maneuver this? How can we change this to kind of add this in? So to Universal Hollywood's credit, I will give them just like Disneyland, because with Walt Disney World and Universal Orlando, they have more open room and space to kind of grow and change things up. Where with Disneyland and Universal Hollywood, you kind of have to play Jenga, so to speak, with your theme
Yeah.
park.
That's a great way to put it. Playing Jenga. That's very much what it is, or like Tetris or something. You got to kind of
Yeah.
fit everything. Now, you recently came down here and we went not to the parks together, but we went to CityWalk together. What were your
Mhm.
thoughts on that?
I actually enjoy Universal Hollywood City Walk better than uh, Orlando's. Orlando's, it feels more, which not necessarily is a bad thing, but it's more opened, where it feels more like of a boardwalk type setting. Where the City Walk in Universal Hollywood, it feels more exclusive. It's almost like you get like a private type of club type of thing, where everything is just like, it's just honed in, where everything is there, and it's like it's at your fingertips. Like you can go here, you can go there. It's a quaint little section, um, as like a hangout type thing. And I actually felt that vibe a little more better out there than Orlando's. As I said,
Yeah.
Orlando's is nice. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing really wrong with it, but I don't know. I sometimes in that sense, less is better.
Yeah. No, I like our City Walk. I like our City Walk. They actually have, I haven't eaten there in a long time.
And the Pink's hot dog that we got there, it was phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We went to Pink's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude, those hot dogs were amazing. Absolutely amazing. I didn't even know they had one over at City Walk because there's one over there, like in Hollywood, I believe.
Off of Melrose. That's the only one. The original Pink's hot dog
Right.
off of Melrose. Steve Martin goes there, and it's
Yeah.
like it's crazy. Like that was the only one that I knew, but I would have never thought it was at Universal.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And in terms of restaurants, they've opened up a lot of new stuff that I haven't been to. They have like these like a Chinese place, like a sushi place, if I'm not mistaken. They got that Toothsome, which I still haven't been to that. Did you ever
Toothsome
get?
is really good. Now I've been to Toothsome at Orlando.
Okay,
Their milkshakes are. You talk about like sophisticated milkshakes. Like they give you like
did
these
they bring
things
all
are
the?
huge.
Did they bring all the boys to the yard?
They bring.
My milkshake brings other boys.
To the yard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, but they were really good though.
They were really good, and then like depending on like if you get like one that's themed that's called like cookies and milk or something, like they'll name it something, like you get this Gimondo cookie that's sitting like right on top of your milkshake, or a whole donut or a whole piece of key lime pie, and it's like Jesus, it's like the milkshake's enough, and then you sit a whole dessert on top of it. It's crazy.
Now, do they have food, or is it just all that dessert stuff?
They do have food, yeah. It's more like a gastropub type
Got
of
it.
food. Like you can
So-
get like burgers, fries, onion rings.
So is it kind of similar to where we went in Disney Springs, the Edison?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because it reminds me, even aesthetically with the steampunk and all that, it kind of reminds me of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has that type of food. Like nothing over the top, but still good quality food. It's just like for like the overall theming. It's a nice environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to close it out, I mean, the point of this video really was just to kind of hold Universal accountable for some of this maintenance stuff, right? And I think we should all, as theme park fans, hold all these companies accountable. Look, when I recently went to Knott's with Theme Park Casual, which, by the way, Theme Park Casual, shout out to our boy Casual. No, but when I recently went to Knott's with Casual, Knott's had issues too with this. Okay, it wasn't just Universal. It's not just Disney. I remember there was, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was very reminiscent of like the Golden Horseshoe, right? And we went upstairs to eat some ice cream, and we walk up the stairs and we turn to the left, and there's all these tables, and there was trash everywhere, dude. It looked like I don't know what happened. Like there was a party there the night before and like no one cleaned up, like a frat party or something. I mean, there were just napkins and stuff spilled over, and it looked bad, really bad. Now, most of the park was very clean, but this one area for some reason was just a wreck, you know? So you see this stuff at these parks now, you know, and we're going through a rough time economically. These parks are pulling back. Sometimes maintenance is one of those things that takes kind of like the back seat, unfortunately. And it's just one of those things. But I think as fans and consumers, we have to let these companies know that's not okay. We expect more. Cleanliness is for me like the basic. Like I go to a mom and pop. If I go to like a Thai food place down the street, like it's mom and pop owned or something, I expect a clean table at the very least. That's like the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? That's the bare fucking minimum. So I don't care if Knott's isn't as big as the Walt Disney Company. They can afford to clean their tables, and they should. And they should be held accountable if they don't. And Universal can definitely afford it, Comcast. So you got to clean your shit up too. So, and Disney, all of them. And all of them. You know what? You got to be on your game, you know? Bare freaking minimum. But George, I want to thank you, Mr. Italiano, for coming on today, talking Universal with me. Where can the good folks at home find you on social media, sir?
Well, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on the podcast, A Walk with Walt. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There we go. And here we go. You know what? since you are such, this is your jam. Here we go. Uh-oh. Are we pixie dusters now, George? Uh-oh. Yeah, it's a great song.
I love it. It is so catchy. I swear. I think out of all the songs that could ever be put into a parade, like that's my jam.
That's my jam, dude. And my favorite section of that parade is actually, I think, the Moana one. I just love that Moana segment. I think that's bomb. And then Moana and
mine's Coco.
Oh, Coco, that's good.
I love the Coco segment.
Yeah, Coco's good.
The Coco segment, and then the little snippet that you play. The little faith and trust with a little bit. I love Tinkerbell's little shimmy that she does when she throws the pixie dust up. I love that.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Oh, you're checking out Tink, huh, George?
Yeah.
Giggity, giggity. I'm just kidding. Everybody at home, comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Universal maintenance, Knott's, Disneyland, Tinkerbell and Magic Happens, and her little shimmy. All of it down below. We would love to hear from you. And as always...